Do you think cholesterol is the enemy? Do you believe LDL levels alone determine your heart disease risk? Are you anxious every day, worrying about your total cholesterol? The answer is simple. Look beyond LDL-C, examine particle quality and number. Assess ApoB, non-HDL, and inflammation. Why is this the truth? This slide explains it all. High LDL-C is certainly a risk factor. This is established scientific fact. But it's not the whole story. Even with the same LDL level, particle size and number change the danger. Small dense LDL, called SDLDL, is the problem. This SDLDL easily penetrates the vascular endothelium and oxidizes readily. And recent research shows this clearly. The number of particles containing ApoB, apolipoprotein B, is what matters. This indicates the total amount of particles entering the arterial wall. Furthermore, we need to look at inflammation. HSCRP, high-sensitivity C-reactive protein. It's a risk factor independent of lipids. This is knowledge revealed by 2 decades of lipid metabolism research. LDL-C alone doesn't tell the complete story. Combine multiple markers to assess true risk. And this is measurable. Measure ApoB, non-HDL, and HSCRP with blood tests. Measure LPA when necessary. This reveals your actual risk. Today, let me show you the scientific evidence. LDL cholesterol, called bad cholesterol. But not all LDL is the same. Size matters. Large LDL, called pattern A. This tends to resist oxidation. But if ApoB, the particle number, is high, it can still pose risk. The problem is small dense LDL, pattern B, SDLDL. This SDLDL easily passes through the vascular endothelium, and there it becomes oxidized. Oxidized LDL gets taken up by macrophages. Abnormal cells called foam cells form. This is plaque, the beginning of atherosclerosis. Studies report increased risk in people with high SDLDL. However, the degree of increase varies by study and adjustment conditions. And atherosclerosis doesn't have a single cause. ApoB, the marker showing particle number, has gained emphasis in recent years. Blood pressure, glucose metabolism, smoking, inflammation, all are involved. SDLDL is one important element, but we need to see the complete picture. HDL cholesterol, called good cholesterol. But why is it good? Let's look at the mechanism. HDL performs a job called reverse cholesterol transport. It collects cholesterol accumulated in arterial walls and carries it to the liver. Macrophages in arterial walls hand over cholesterol to HDL. HDL transports it to the liver. It's processed in the liver and excreted as bile. This is the mechanism that protects your blood vessels. But recent research made an important discovery. HDL functionality matters more than HDL-C level, the amount of HDL. In inflammatory states, HDL becomes dysfunctional. Reverse cholesterol transport capacity decreases. High HDL-C doesn't necessarily mean safety. Currently, in routine clinical practice, HDL function often can't be measured directly. That's why a practical approach is important. Improving triglycerides, weight management, exercise, smoking cessation. These are lifestyle factors that can also improve HDL function. Rather than looking only at HDL-C level, prioritize overall risk management. This is the modern approach to lipid management. Here's a useful reference marker. The triglyceride-to-HDL ratio. This suggests your metabolic health. The calculation is simple. Divide triglyceride level by HDL level. However, you need to pay attention to units. Milligram per deciliter and mmol/L, the same number means completely different things in different units. Reference ranges also vary by sex and ethnicity, so we can't state absolute thresholds definitively. Why is this ratio useful as a reference? A high ratio suggests insulin resistance, and there's a tendency for increased production of small LDL, SDLDL. Some studies report this ratio predicts cardiovascular risk. However, results differ by study and population. In Japanese guidelines, it's a reference marker, not an official management target. What's important is not looking at this ratio alone. Combine non-HDL, ApoB, blood pressure, glucose metabolism, everything together. Evaluate comprehensively while consulting with your physician. You can calculate this ratio with your next blood test. But remember, it's just part of the whole picture. Don't rely on a single marker. Look from multiple perspectives. Lipoprotein A, called LPA. This is a genetically determined cardiovascular risk factor. And frustratingly, it can't be changed by lifestyle. LPA is a particle similar to LDL, but it has an additional component called apolipoprotein A. This structure promotes blood clot formation. 90% of blood concentration is genetically determined. Genes inherited from your parents determine your LPA. It remains nearly unchanged throughout life. The general threshold for high levels is 50 milligrams per deciliter, or 125 nmol. However, there's an important caveat here. Milligram per deciliter and nmol/L, these two units cannot be simply converted. Due to isoform differences, conversion is impossible. So always check the units on your test result. The same 50 means completely different things in different units. And LPA is hard to lower. Changing diet won't lower it. Exercise won't lower it. Statins don't lower LPA. They may even raise it slightly. That's why measurement is crucial. Measure once, and you have a lifetime assessment. If you have a family history of heart disease, measure it without fail. If it's high, you need to manage other risk factors more strictly. But there's good news. New drugs that significantly lower LPA are currently being developed. Nucleic acid therapies, called siRNA and antisense drugs. Clinical trials show results of dramatically lowering LPA. It may become a treatable risk factor in the near future. For now, measure and know is the first step. Always check the units of your values and strengthen overall risk management. Inflammation. This is one of the hidden key players in atherosclerosis. High-sensitivity CRP, called hsCRP, is the blood marker that measures this inflammation. This is a supplementary risk marker. hsCRP reflects chronic inflammation in vessel walls. As a general guideline, below 1 milligram per liter is considered low. 1 to 3 milligrams per liter is moderate. Above 3 milligrams per liter is high. The Jupiter trial, a groundbreaking clinical study, demonstrated this. Even in people with high hsCRP but normal LDL cholesterol, statins were effective. They reduced major composite cardiovascular events by approximately 44% relatively. This shows inflammation is a risk factor independent of lipids. Even if your LDL-C is normal, risk exists if hsCRP is high. Conversely, even if LDL-C is somewhat elevated, risk is relatively lower if hsCRP is low. However, there are caveats with hsCRP. Infections and acute inflammation cause transient elevation. So don't judge from a single measurement. Confirm with repeated testing. And there's good news. hsCRP can be improved with lifestyle changes. Exercise, weight management, and anti-inflammatory diet lower hsCRP. Furthermore, there are new discoveries in medicine. Research results showing specific anti-inflammatory drugs reduce cardiovascular events are emerging. The importance of inflammation management is being further reconfirmed. Saturated fatty acids, abundant in butter and red meat, generally said to raise LDL cholesterol. But not everyone has the same response. Some people show almost no LDL-C increase even eating lots of saturated fat. Others have LDL-C that rises easily even with small amounts. This difference relates to genes. The ApoE gene, involved in lipid metabolism. There are 3 variations: ApoE2, ApoE3, and ApoE4. You inherited a combination of these from your parents. People with ApoE the fourth of may have stronger responsiveness to saturated fat and dietary cholesterol. However, prevalence varies greatly by region and ethnicity. We can't uniformly state 25%. People with ApoE2 tend to have lower responsiveness. They may not see LDL-C rise much, even with moderate saturated fat intake. This is the concept of personalized nutrition. Genetic testing can reveal your ApoE type. However, treat this as reference information. Rather than uniform lipid restriction, consider a dietary strategy tailored to your condition. Discuss a personalized approach while consulting with your physician or dietitian. This is the direction of modern nutritional management. Statins, the most common drugs for lowering LDL cholesterol. They inhibit HMG-CoA reductase and suppress cholesterol synthesis in the liver. They have a track record of reducing LDL-C by 20 to 50% and decreasing cardiovascular events by 25 to 35%. But side effects exist? Muscle symptoms, pain or discomfort in muscles. Frequency varies by study and definition. If symptoms appear, you don't need to stop immediately. Discuss with your doctor about changing medications, adjusting doses, or evaluating other causes. In many cases, there are solutions. There were also concerns about cognitive function in the past, but recent large-scale studies haven't consistently shown serious adverse effects. If you individually notice memory issues, consult your doctor for adjustments. So are there natural improvement strategies? There are. First, high-purity EPA. Eicosapentaenoic acid. Research results show EPA-only formulations are effective. The REDUCE-IT trial demonstrated risk reduction. However, caution is needed. Another trial using mixed DHA and EPA formulations showed no benefit. The effectiveness of typical fish oil supplements varies. Pharmaceutical grade and supplements differ in content and purity. Cardiovascular event suppression effects differ by formulation. High-purity EPA is considered particularly effective. Second, soluble fiber. Viscous soluble fiber, such as oat beta-glucan and psyllium. Increasing these can be expected to lower LDL-C. Food variety and consistency are key. Abundant in oats, legumes, apples, and plantain. Incorporating them into daily meals produces effects. These aren't as dramatic as medications, but they're options with fewer side effects. For mild to moderate dyslipidemia, it's worth starting with lifestyle improvements. Of course, for high-risk cases, statins are necessary. Choose the optimal strategy for you while consulting with your physician. Now, let's organize today's key points. Here's today's summary. First, evaluate using multiple markers combined. LDL-C is certainly an important risk factor, but it's not everything. SD-LDL, small dense LDL, is one element associated with risk. In recent years, ApoB, the marker showing particle number, is emphasized. Non-HDL is also useful. Combine these for comprehensive judgment. Get an assessment appropriate for you while consulting with your physician. Second, confirm inflammation and genetic risk. Measure hs-CRP, high-sensitivity CRP. Generally, below 1 mg per liter is considered a low guideline. However, since it rises transiently with infections, confirm with repeated measurements. Measure LPA at least once. It's especially important if you have family history. When measuring, always confirm whether the unit is milligram per deciliter or nmol. Knowing genetic risk enables stricter management. Third, implement personalized improvement strategies. High-purity EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid, is one option. However, since effectiveness differs by formulation, consult your doctor. Increase viscous soluble fiber such as oat beta-glucan and psyllium. These may naturally improve LDL-C. If possible, you can also consider checking ApoE genotype. Adjust saturated fat intake according to your genotype. Exercise, weight management, and smoking cessation are also important. For high-risk cases, discuss statins with your doctor. What will you measure in your next blood test? LDL-C, ApoB, non-HDL, HSCRP, and LPA. Look from multiple perspectives, not a single marker. Share your strategy in the comments. Thanks for investing your time in your health today. Cholesterol management isn't a simple numbers game. It's a complex system involving particle size, particle number, inflammation, genes, everything. This channel explores how the human body works and the science of health. With evidence, not emotion. With science, not trends. I illuminate your path to health. Subscribe, and let's learn the truth about your body together next time. Until next time.